Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the 90
What's up?
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. Oh man, I earned this your thing. I already got you frozen already, man.
God.
I hear.
Yeah, a little bit frozen, Ernest.
Yeah.
All right, hold up.
Well,
Let me
I'll introduce the show. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you today. We appreciate all those listening, whether you on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, the blog, the website, wherever you are on the interwebs. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. If you appreciate and like the show, then you can go to our website, marchingpodcast.com, and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. I'll go ahead and introduce the show. We had a couple of technical difficulties, and hopefully we're not getting any of those today. But we back and full effect and ready to talk about the last couple weeks or just kind of catch up on some stuff. The SWAC Championship was yesterday to decide the SWAC side of who was going to go to I'm about to say the All-American Bowl. What is it? I know it's the Air Force. The Air Force Bowl.
Celebration
The Celebration Bowl. Thank you,
Celebration Bowl.
Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome, sir.
So,
You're welcome, sir.
So, yeah, we excited about that, and we'll get things going. I see Ernest just resetting things. He got his camera going forward because we see his.
Let me get it. All right. Yeah.
There you go. We got.
There you go.
There you go. Round of applause. We got us all back. Hopefully, we got all our technical difficulties straight. I was double checking. I called him. I said, "Hey, I'm paying the bill. What's going on? Making sure." And they was like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I got a podcast. Get it right." And the lady was like, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" And I was like, "Black college marching bands." Like I said, black college. I had a little anger with it. She was like, "Oh, that's so wonderful." And then she started telling me about her son who was in the marching band. So shout out to Irene. Let me give her a round of applause. Irene.
Come on here, Irene.
There you go, Irene, representing Frontier Communications. There you go. I told you to give you a shout out. There you go, Irene. All right.
Keep that service on, Irene.
I know, right? Because they ain't gonna keep it on if you're mad. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was cool. She was real nice, and so I was real excited. So I'm real excited to finally talk to y'all and catch up with y'all again. So I haven't formally introduced y'all on this. What's this? I think it's episode 9 for this year. What really can't count last week, so this episode 9 and championships. That's what I called it. So Ernest,
what's up?
Editor and founder of Block Us Up, Bandblog.com. How you doing in this podcast, sir?
Everything is good, my brother. Everything is good, man. I'm ready for these holidays to get on the way. You know, I love Christmas, man. So this is like my favorite time of the year, and just getting with family and enjoying the weather, man. Because I like chilly weather. So this is about to be on and popping this year, man. We usually do a little seafood thing on Christmas Eve. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Nice.
So what is, when you say chilly weather, what's it get down to in the ATL, the Georgia area nowadays when it gets cold?
Well, you know what? Shoot, it's been cold recently, man. We got down to the 30s recently.
Oh,
so that's cold for us. That's cold.
Right.
That's cold. You know, I've been used to being out in Houston, man, where this time of the year people still wearing t-shirts and short pants, and it's just hot.
Yeah, but
you know, so I'm glad to be out of that hot box. But yeah, I like it like a little cool, you know.
Right.
So this is right up my alley.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have a little change, cause I know
Yeah.
when I first moved here, I was like, man, it's nice. I was wearing shorts at Christmas time, but
Yeah.
now it's like monotonous. Now, like it's the same thing over and over again. Like I wear the same
Yeah.
clothes year round. You know what I'm
And
saying?
you lose sense of your seasons.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And Christmas to me should always be cold, so that kind of threw me off.
Word, that's true. Now we do have the mountains out here, so like
Yeah.
we can overlook the mountains. And when it gets cold, the last couple of weeks it's been snowing. So like when you're on the ground, you can look up and see the snow mountains. So that's real nice. But yeah, it is.
Right.
That's the only change we really got. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But that's what's up. Good to see you, Ernest. And
Yes,
last but
sir.
not least, and we have to follow up because we had some historical events from
Yeah.
the pride, and the one and only good old Morgan State, Bridget Bell. What's going on, Bridget, in this
Hey,
podcast?
hello, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. So I know, I guess we got to
Good,
wait till our
good.
intros or shout outs, but what was Morgan State Band doing over the Thanksgiving holiday, Bridget? I was just trying to ask.
Man, we were representing the HBCU. Morgan State was representing the HBCU community. So I am going to go ahead and do my shout out now to the magnificent marching machine of Morgan State University,
Round of
who
applause.
represented well. When I say represented well, they represented well at the New York Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But not only that, they got that phone call to be a part of the Today Show the day before. So Wednesday, I woke up, I'm like, that's a familiar sound. It was my magnificent marching machine on the Today Show, and they were there with them the whole hour. It's like an hour, a little longer. Like they were supposed to do a little set and then roll out, but they enjoyed them so much that they kept them on. Al Roker was even representing with the blue and orange,
He was
and they
trying.
did such
He
a
was
nice
trying.
job. Yeah, he represented well. He had his glasses and his shades on,
Right, right.
and they had this whole little cook-off segment. But Morgan State was representing well, and they were the first band from Maryland to ever get invited to participate in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. So that's a huge shout out. But they also led the parade. They were the first band to lead the parade. So we were excited to kind of see them. Big historical moment. So shout out to Mr. Professor Melvin Inmouth, who deserved it after 40, I think he's close to 45 or plus years at Morgan State. What an outstanding honor. And they did such a great job. So shout out to that entire staff, Carl Stewart, Angie Pope, Sharice Byers, Pam Bennett, everyone who's a part of that staff that made it happen. We were super excited to see them on the big stage. And I tell you, I was in the airport and I was traveling and I had my hoodie on. People were like, hey, we saw that band. And it makes Thanksgiving parade. I was like, that's right, you sure did. So we're excited. This is a great moment for the university. And speaking along that line, just to brag on Morgan State University a little bit, there are a lot of bands who are invited to do things like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Rose Bowl Parade, and it's financially it's tough. It's very expensive. But I have to give a shout out to Dr. David Wilson, who's president of Morgan State University. Morgan State did not have to raise one penny towards this trip. He fully funded this opportunity for the students and their staff, and they took full advantage of it. I mean, they were there basically the whole week, but that was one stressor they didn't have to worry about. He wanted them to be there. The university board of trustees and everyone made sure they were there. The only fundraising that happened was from the Alumni Association and the New York chapter of Morgan State Alumni Association decided they wanted to feed the band. So they asked for help with that, but that wasn't a band initiative because Morgan State University and the president fully funded this opportunity. So when I tell you that made us proud as alumni to see that our money is going back, the tuition we've paid, the money we sow into the university is going back, and that they're fully funding the arts. When I tell you that's like, woo, exciting, that's super exciting. What you didn't see is that the choir was at Carnegie Hall also. So they sang at Carnegie Hall, the Morgan State Choir.
Wow.
I mean, it was a Morgan Takes Manhattan weekend. Yeah. So that it was a great opportunity. They did a scholarship. The alumni chapter there had a big scholarship breakfast and whatever there. They raised over $15,000 to go back to the university. So when I say as a Morgan State, two-time Morgan State alumni, I was super proud. This was a very proud and exciting moment for us, and I tried to blast it. Like every clip, everything we saw, I was like blast it, blast it, blast it. So
That's
we're
what you're supposed
excited.
to do.
We're really
Right.
That's right.
excited. But Ernest, in all honesty, whenever I see anyone, any HBCU
I do too.
represented on a big stage, I try
Right.
to blast them. So when
Right.
A&T had their time, I blasted them. When Miles College had theirs, when
Absolutely.
Prairie View had their time, and trust me, January 1st, Southern's going to be in the Rose Bowl parade, and I'm going to blast them just as hard because it's great that we're getting these opportunities, and so we want to show pride in our HBCUs.
I totally
Absolutely.
agree. I totally agree. And I know I always think about it because it's a good time where it's like when Tom and Jerry, y'all watch Tom and Jerry, right? Back in the day. Y'all
Of
remember them?
course.
Y'all remember them episodes when they used to get along? I used to like those
Yeah.
episodes.
So very few.
Round of applause for Tom and Jerry. That's the bomb. They just had
Let me
fun.
tell you, in house, we have our own rivalries, but we don't let nobody else come for each other like
No.
that. Like for real, when it comes time to
That's
support, I'm
facts.
supporting my HBCUs. Like we
Hmm.
can fuss and fight. We go, oh, you have that internal rivalry, but let somebody outside of that try to say something about one of the HBCUs. I'll read them from A to Z
Yep.
because we support our own for real. We support our own. So next up on the stage is Southern University Rose for the Rose Bowl parade. So we make sure we're going to support them just as hard.
That's right.
Yeah, I talked to Garrett and looking forward to meeting him and looking forward to meeting the staff. So that'll be cool and at least have a little bit more since I get an understanding of maybe where they are. I could at least maybe get a little bit more like hearing from the students. That worked out well when Miles and all of them came out here. Miles and I think A&T and for the Honda thing last year. I know that worked out a lot where I was at least able to talk to the students. So I want to do a little bit more of that. And then I think one of the students, I think it was Kelsey, but it was from Columbia High School there in Georgia. She picked that she was going to Southern in the National Signing Day. So I believe I get a chance to holler her. Zach Neely is her band director. Shout out to him. He marched at Jackson State and at FAM. So shout out to him. But yeah, it's exciting times, but definitely I totally know what I totally agree with that. I felt the same certain type of way about the SWAC Championship, and I guess we'll get into that about our SWAC representation against A&T. You know what I'm saying? I had to put some stuff aside. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But yeah, Rich, I
If
thought
you get an
about you.
if you get an opportunity, definitely sit down. I think Ked might be listening to Kedrick Taylor. Sit down with him if you're out there, Ked. We try to make that connection for you, but he's a great guy to talk to. Really smart, great band director, great leadership. Really excited about the work he's doing, the direction he's taking the Southern University program. So if you're out there, like have a real sit down with him because I think you'll be really impressed with what you hear from him.
Yeah, I definitely will, and I'm say, hey man, y'all should play more marches. Round of applause. Round of applause. Have a
Did you
good
hear the
one.
march that Morgan? Did you hear the march that Morgan played
And see, well,
on the
Yeah.
see,
Today Show?
Yo.
that was actually one
Very
of my
good
shout
job
outs.
too.
That was
Yeah.
actually one of my shout outs. That was actually one of the greatest performances this year. And that was one of the
Yeah.
reasons. Because Morgan bust out that march. See,
Because
people don't
they played a march.
understand that. See, people don't understand marches and how important it is. They didn't get out there and play fellas where the booty at, whoop, there it is out there, did they? They played a march. Okay?
I just want to give it up because I actually heard the woodwinds and they were playing. So
Yes.
I appreciate that effort.
Good old
So
MEAC.
yeah, Morgan. Shout out to Morgan, man.
Yeah, shout out to Morgan. I was excited. I had told my mom. I know my mom was, and I said Friday they was doing something. She's like, "What I do?" I said, "Yeah, they on the Today Show." She's like, "Dang!" So that was really, really, really exciting. So yeah, definitely archive that and start, sharing that. And a couple years down the road, resharing it to help out the program. And I'm definitely, I know I want to be chopping it up with brother Miles. Or I'm sorry, it was Melvin
Melvin.
Miles.
Yes.
Is
Yeah, I need
Dr.
to holler
Melvin
at him too.
Miles? Dr. Melvin Miles or Mr. Melvin
Mm.
Miles?
Mhm.
All right. So,
Yeah, Mr.
Bridget,
Melvin Miles.
Bridget,
Yes,
see if you
that's
can hook
another
me up
person
with
to
an
talk to.
interview. I
I
want to get
absolutely
him.
will.
on my legendary band director setup on my blog. I'm trying to capture these legendary band directors before they retire and before they pass on and all that good thing.
Yeah.
So I would definitely like to talk with him. Yeah.
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 Because the
I
tide
could
is
be wrong,
changing.
but I think he's the longest standing director at this time. He and I had that conversation, but I think right now he's the longest standing in the field. And Morgan is really a quiet kept secret because we're so far, as everybody considers, so far north.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you, he has done some great things. One of the premier past national presidents of Kappa Kappa Psi, outstanding arranger, has done some great work on the national stage. So he's definitely a person I'll definitely try to make that connection for the two of you all to spend time with. But he's a great person, a wealth of knowledge. He's one of those people, when he retired, I've been kind of saying that I could see falling into a mentorship role for these young band directors out here. Like, they need somebody that of the voice of reason with the wisdom, and he would be the perfect person. Like, really, he's a great person to get to know. So young band directors, if you have the opportunity, really spend some time with Melvin Miles, because he's one of the great ones out here. Well, nice kept secret.
Well, that was what I was about to say, was that it seemed like the tide is kind of changing, where now people are our age. All the band directors are like our age. So
Yeah.
it made me feel old,
Yeah.
but it's also when Brother Miles is out here doing his thing. Like you said, that's a really good point, Ernest. We definitely need to holler at people and archive and put the stuff on wax, as to say, while they're still
That's
here.
right.
That's very, very
That's right.
important.
A lot of our music educators are doing these great things and living these great legacies that aren't documented, because they don't write books, they don't document what they've done, and because I mean, all of these legendary names that we know about that will kind of just continue to fade away and to be lost to time, because there's no paper trail and there's no documentation of what's been done. So that's the effort that I'm leading, is to try to catch these cats while they're here with us, and talk with them, and get them to tell us a little bit about themselves on a personal level, and what they've gone through and what they've accomplished, and document everything so that there'll be a record, for years to come. And that's what I've been doing on Block Us Up with our legendary band director post. So if you haven't checked that out, anybody out there, check that out. So far, I've interviewed a couple of college band directors and one legendary high school band director. So check it out. And I would love to talk with Mr. Miles if I can. That would be awesome.
And shout out to the chat room. And I think I see Rodney up in there. Melvin N. Miles. Get it right. All right, my bad. Donald Donaldson, what's up, bro? Killer Kev, Michael Core, all the usuals. So round of applause for the triple plus platinum supporters in the chat room.
Thank you for y'all support.
Right, the real HBCU, the streets, is in the chat room, y'all.
All right.
What's up? Thank y'all for the support.
So Ernest, I get to you. Is anything, any shout outs, anything that you wanted to do before we start the show? Anything you wanted to highlight? Oh, and you said cats. These cats out here. You meant these dogs. You meant these dogs.
Yeah.
You don't want some cats. Not too many cats.
Anybody studying no dogs, man. Hey, I want to shout out. Well, on that tip, I want to shout out the Alpha Lambda chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. We just celebrating our founding on December 5th. So we founded December 5th, 1931, Alpha Lambda chapter. Big Al Nukes, South Carolina State University. So yeah.
Hey.
Big Al. And I want to shout out to them 49ers. Woohoo! Yo, I've been telling y'all about my Niners all year long, and y'all been sleeping on me. It's real now, though. It's real.
You was quiet when they played the Ravens a couple weeks ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? That's all right, because my man is a true. So yeah. I got to give my respect to him, man. Yeah. That's gonna be a good Super Bowl. So Yeah, the
Absolutely.
Niners. That's
Absolutely.
right.
Did
Yeah.
did the
So
Ravens win today?
that's a good question.
Cause I
Did
started
you have to ask
watching
that question?
I know, right?
I started watching, but yeah, I started looking at the videos. But yeah, shout out to Ernest and the Niners. That
That's
was
right,
like I
man.
say, my dad used to love the Niners back in the day because of Jerry Rice, boy. That was it. That was his boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my man.
so that's
We
what's up.
11 and
We
2.
won. We won 24-17. Just in case you were really wondering that.
I appreciate that.
Ravens,
I appreciate
Baltimore
that.
Ravens. Let's go.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that's what's
Them
up.
Ravens on a move, man. I don't know what's up, boy. Woo! It's gonna be a good Super Bowl. That's all I gotta say. It's gonna be good, man.
Man,
Lamar Jackson. I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. That dude is the truth.
I'm telling
Like,
MVP,
you.
baby. Let's go.
But I'm telling you, watch out now, cause it's gonna be more Mitchell Trubisky's. It's gonna be more
uh-huh.
Josh Allen's. They gonna start popping up. I remember when we were in school, there was a guy at Nebraska. Cause you remember Nebraska used to be the bomb when we were kind of coming along in the '90s and stuff. They had a dude named Eric Couch. He's a white boy. He was fast, man. I mean, he was fast. He was one of the fast white boys I had ever seen. But now, pretty soon, next thing you know, just like we got the little dude at Jefferson Davis, it's gonna be a little
Mhm.
white Lamar Jackson in the next 3 or 4 years. I'm telling you, they gonna
You
find
can
him
tell me
too.
that they're gonna start running. They're gonna
They,
start running.
man, they gonna be like, nah, man, you need to run the ball to be effective in the league. And we about to see a whole bunch of dudes out of North Dakota just mauling over people, y'all. Real
Yeah.
talk. Oh,
People
Tommy
was sleeping.
Frazier.
I mean, Mike Vick was doing that for years, though, man, and people slept on him. So
He was
he the one
light
who
though.
started.
He was light.
Yeah.
Like he would get hit and then he would get injured. But yeah, shout out to somebody in the chat, Rodney, Tommy Frazier, back in Nebraska. He was raw, but he was way too black to be in the NFL back then. Like he looked way too African. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they were not. If y'all
Yeah.
Google Tommy Frazier, he was cold. He was probably the first Lamar Jackson, or probably somebody before him. But I remember when we were coming along, he was really good, and people was totally staying away from him. The league was not trying to let him in the league, So it is what it is, y'all. But yeah, shout out to the Ravens. Shout out to the Rams, the greatest team in the league. Let's get a round of applause for the Rams. I don't know if we won.
You say the greatest team in the league? Bless
Yeah.
the heart.
I mean,
I don't know what he said.
Hey, the Rams, man, gotta support the squad. All right. Uh, boy, Rodney, man, I swear, Rodney and I are definitely the same age. He started bringing up movies and like athletes and all the stuff. So yeah, shout out to you, Rodney, man.
Who is that? She talking about Chisholm?
Yeah,
Is that Chisholm you
Rodney.
talking about?
Yeah, he talking about Randall Cunningham. He be coming up with lists.
Oh yeah,
Not
that Randall Cunningham was a beast.
Yeah, he
Now I
was.
got
He
yeah.
was. He was. But yeah, that's how Rodney is, man. Rodney started talking about something, and he'll have a whole list for you, man. Like Rodney said, yeah, this it's like Crossroads. Shout out to Rodney. He know about Crossroads, one of the dopest movies ever with Ralph Macchio. Y'all need to check it out.
Yeah.
Learn your scales.
Rodney is like a movie, anything about movies and whatever, he's going to be all over it. Shout out to Rodney, Dr. Rodney Chisholm,
Right.
doing big things at Dodge. I think he's at Dodge City College now.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Rodney. He want to make sure
That's
we do a
what's up.
shout out to him. HBCU grad, doing big things.
Yeah.
As his program, got a little radio show and everything. So shout out to you, Rod.
That's what's up. Shout out.
Shout out
You owe
to
me you owe me $10 for that shout out. I'm only playing.
I'm a little late.
I just playing.
A little wrong sound. All right, y'all. Well, for me, everything was cool. It's been raining a lot out here, so we've been kind of lazy, not been doing too much. But for us getting stuff
It
back
was
together,
raining in California.
yeah, man.
What?
And I used to, and I remember driving to Jackson one year in a snowstorm out of Missouri, and we would trying to drive up to Santa Maria in the rain, and I couldn't do it. Like I turned around, man. I done got
What?
acclimated to the area. So if it's raining, man, it ain't nothing going on, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's raining today, and I don't really feel like doing nothing. It's bad, man. For California folks, is lazy. You know what I'm saying? That's really what's going on. I'm lazy now too. So yeah, that was the main thing for me. Morgan State. I was gonna say shout out to Bridget and represent Morgan State. I had to do that. And then shout out to, because I'm from the SWAC, shout out to the Alcorn State Braves, and I give a
He
round of
like
applause.
dying. He like dying.
Dang.
Don't act like that. Don't act like that. Shout out Alcorn
Well, the football team. The football team won.
and the
So,
band and the band.
well, all right. So the football team won the game on the field. So they gonna be representing us against A&T. Go SWAC. Down with the MEAC. Christy Walker, where you at? Down with A&T. Where we at? And finally, A&T has had more success. They listed it up. I think it's been 5 years now, and they won 3. They won 3 out of the
So
last.
is Alcorn going to the Honda?
No, they
No,
weren't invited to Honda. No, they're not
Okay,
on the
okay,
Honda list.
okay.
no, they're not going. But we're
I was
we're.
about to make it
A&T
really
is.
interesting. Okay,
Oh yeah, that would. So
because
hopefully A&T don't flop out and they give us a show.
I don't think you got to worry about that one. They're gonna give you a show. I'm not even worried about halftime. That's the part I'm not worried about. I'm worried about the fifth.
Yeah, that's a good point. Round of applause for Ernest.
But we have to give a shout out to Alcorn. This has been a transitional year for them. You know, they're under
Yeah,
new leadership. So shout out to Everson Martin and his team.
yeah.
Those are some good guys. So, you know, they've been working this year, and it's hard when you're in that transitional year. You know, as everybody are, they're understaffed, overworked, and I think they put out a good product this year. I don't know who coaches. Somebody tell me who coaches the GGs, because them sisters was killing it this year. I'm
Oh
coming
yeah,
out for GGs when my knees get better. But
very
shout out to
impressive.
DJs and the GGs, Melton Harvey, Brian Sterling, who's over the percussion. They did some good work this year, so we can't hate on Alcorn. They kept the program moving. So shout out to them and their team. I'm proud of them. You know, I happen to be friends with a lot of band directors, and I'm honored to be able to know them and to see the work that they're doing. So shout out, and they're young guys too. So I'm always excited when I see what they're putting out there. So shout out. They've had a good season. So stop hating,
I wasn't hating.
Bears.
I wasn't hating. I was agreeing. So I said, shout out to
They've had a
Alcorn.
good year. You
Bridget
said the
knows.
team.
Yeah. Okay. You talking about the band? Okay. My bad. My bad. Hold on. My bad. Round of applause. My bad. I didn't. My bad. So the sounds
He's
of
like, we been talking
Dynamite.
about the band all this time. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, but for real, as of yesterday, I am a brave. Like I am all Alcorn right now, cause
What?
we have got to take them down. We have lost too much to the MEAC, so I'm hoping they do well. Also, and we'll get into it in the next block, but Alcorn, I mean, they've been sounding good all year, but they they kind of rivaled Southern. Like they were ready for Southern. I looked on the video and
Mm.
it was an hour long. The zero quarter was an hour long, and I was like, "Dang,
That's
what's
all they
that about?"
did.
So
They put it all in the zero quarter because there wasn't a fifth, so they put it all in the zero
yeah,
quarter.
yeah, and
Mm.
that was cool. It was at the reservation. So shout out to the reservation. But yeah, Alcorn. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm rooting on y'all, man. I'm pulling for y'all. Y'all got to bring it home, man. And Steve McNair, his brother is the coach, and man, I love me some Steve McNair too. So it's like, come on, Alcorn. I mean, and I like the I always like that. I
I
always
love
like
that
that.
chant.
I do
I
too.
love that chant.
I do
I
too.
love it.
All
It
right.
reminds me of Florida State a little bit. It reminds me of the Florida State little thing they have a little bit, but they definitely get house with that.
They do. They do. I like that. I like that. But yeah, the football team won. It was actually a good game. I actually checked out the
Really
game,
good game.
and they won right there at the end. So they'll be representing us in a couple weeks, and that bowl starts the bowl season. So like the I keep saying All American Bowl. The Celebration Bowl is the first one, and then everything starts from there. So make sure you guys check out that. I'm sure it'll be on one of the ESPNs. And then it's always like noon for us out here, like 3 o'clock for y'all or something like that. It's like early afternoon. That's how they always do it. All right, y'all. we'll do the first little round of commercials, then and come back and talk about what we had missed. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the Bayou and the female director in her first time. I
Mhm.
really liked she was directing in front of the band. She had her like the fro out. Like it was just
Yeah,
something having the fro out directing in front of the band. That was dope.
I like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll talk about that, and then a little bit of the SWAC Championship. We'll be right back. Y'all can mute your microphones. This is the 90 Degree Show, Volume 9, end of the year. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, you can unmute your microphones while I do this third sponsor. Janetta Powell Smith, shout out to you, owner and founder of Bull City Music School. We have, like, for the last 2 or 3 weeks now, been on the phone with, like, oh, yeah, we're going to get together, we do the commercial. All right, and then something always happens. So shout out to JP, or we used to call her back in school. She's developed, built from scratch, Bull City Music School, 2 locations out there in North Carolina. Contact her at 919-423-5701, 919-423-5701, and she will help you and help your children assess and promote and grow in the society through music. All right. Also, she's continuing to build the brand. She has a store where she's selling instruments and loaning out and renting instruments as well. And she's talking about adding dance and a whole bunch of other stuff. So get on while the train is hot, and get on the ground floor before she blows up. All right. And one of our sponsors, she'll help us blow up too. So shout out to Bull City Music School. All right, y'all. So last week we had some technical difficulties, but this week I think we scrism and we're ready to talk. So I kind of give it to you guys. Bridget, I know you had wanted to kind of talk about the battle of the bands from the Bayou. So I'll go ahead and give it to you on the floor. We just start our discussion there.
Okay, y'all have to excuse me because it is dinner time too, folks, and I'm munching. But I'm gonna pause.
It's all good.
I'm trying to pause. I got this wonderful church plate. You know how the African church plate hits.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the Kingsway Church Ministry. They always look out for their PK, make sure I have food when I got to run out the door. So we had a special celebration. So I got this church plate that's calling my name. Either way. So let's talk about the Bayou Classic a little bit.
Okay.
So I had those who don't know, I'm originally from Alabama, small town called Eufaula. Look it up. Not too far from Montgomery and Tuskegee, all those things. It's in southeast Alabama. So when I realized I'm going home, I'm always like, look, I'm down in the south. That means I'm near something. And so we went home for Thanksgiving, something we don't do often. And I was like, oh, let me go ahead and hit the Bayou Classic this year. And so while I'm doing this, I'm giving my shout outs too. And I'm like, it's still a nice little hump down to New Orleans from Southeast Alabama. So I was like, who can I call? I was like, let me call the brothers. I am blessed. Let me tell you. Joe always said, a lot of people. I am blessed to have some good friends and contacts in my life who, when I tell you, like, my brothers just look out for me like I'm like their sister for real, like for real, is one of them things. So I called, I was like, I got to call my boy Snipes. I'm like, hey, I'm down in the area. You want to go to Bayou? He's like, oh, man, I'm spending family time. We're going to go to Orlando. So I was like, shoot. I was like, let me see who else to call. So I called Prof. Knowles, Brian Knowles from Assistant Band Director. And he like, hey, sis, let's roll. Let's do it. Let's be out. So that was my call partner. So shout out to Prof. Brian Knowles. When I tell you, great arranger, good guy, good dude, had a good time, looked out for his sis. I appreciate it. So we hopped in the car. We like, boom, we're going to go to New Orleans. So I also, when I make them calls, I started making all my little calls. I'm like, let me call Brian Stella from Alcorn. Hey, I'm coming through. Look, it's where you need to stay. Everybody kind of tell you what to do. Call Ked Taylor. You good? What you need, sis? I got you. So he made sure I had whatever I need, passes or whatever to get in. I got to give shout out to the people because I want to tell you, we rival, we talk junk, but in the long run, these are good folks, and we're all from different programs. But I appreciate it. Even as a female, we know human trafficking and all that stuff is like super crazy, but I don't worry about anything when I'm, I don't worry about anything when I'm with them because they look out for me. They're like, for real, you good? They make sure I'm good, especially as a female traveling, often alone. So when I say brothers, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. So we got there Friday. I'm going to try to eat my way through New Orleans. It didn't really work out that way. We was trying to grab some food. We stopped and having a good time. We went over to Southern University Hotel. We see all the Southern band staff. We kicking it, cutting up with them. When I say hospitable, the Kangs, they call themselves the Kangs. The Kangs is cool. We got a love-hate relationship, But they cool. They looked out for me. So we got there. We did a lot of walking. You know how New Orleans is. You kind of park and you just kind of walk it. So we walked it. We got to the Battle of the Bands. They have a step show before. And if anybody's listening from the Bayou Classic, oh my goodness, y'all got to figure this out. Most people were there for the Battle of the Bands. Like, move that step show later or something. But people weren't there for the step show at all. They was like there for the Battle of the Bands. But, these kind of events is about money making. They have a lot of sponsorship. So there's going to be a lot of talking. And we've talked about this. I don't know if you remember this, Joe, like years ago, because people were like, well, why they not showing this and why they not doing that? And I kept saying, it's about money. I was like, and more and more, we're going to see more things that are commercialized or whatever because it's about money. They got to figure out how to pay for these big events. So a lot of it was commercialized. So the bands came out. Southern marched in first. They came in with their hype. And let me tell you, Southern got probably the crowd of all crowds. I love their crowd. Like, when you see their band, they get super hype. And I love it. It seemed like they had the bigger representation over the weekend, too. And, of course, Southern, they always say New Orleans is Southern's back door because it's right there. It's not as far. But they had good representation all up and down, the streets and everywhere you saw Southern folks. Their band came in. They got hype. Boom. They was excited. So, and so they marched in, and it is, they marched into their cadence. Took them a little while to get in. They, they did the Southern thing. And then Grambling marches in. Grambling marches in playing, like straight playing. And from the jump, Grambling this is a different band, folks. Like, if you're not paying attention, you got to pay attention. I'm not saying that they're perfect because no band is, but they came in playing. And shout out to their director. And everybody's like, you pulling for it just because it's a female director. You have to know I'm not that kind of person. I'm pulling for whoever is going to be the better band of the night. Like, female, male, it doesn't matter at this point. Like, we're excited that she's in that position, but she has to pay her dues like everybody else, like I do and everybody else. But when I tell you, to me, in my opinion, Grambling came through. They came through. Like, they came in, they were excited, they were marching well. It seems to me that Southern gets up for Jackson State and sometimes Grambling, but I don't see them get up for any band like they get up for Jackson State. Grambling, you can tell, definitely gets up for Southern. Like, they're hyped from, but they came in playing. Got to the end, it was a little glitchy or whatever, but for the most part, they were good. My only suggestion to Grambling is they have too many tenor drums, and playing inside of arena, they couldn't make the adjustment in some aspects. But overall, the band sounded good. But if you all watched that Battle of the Bands, anybody who watched that Battle of the Bands, we have to say Grambling sounds good. Like, overall, they're playing, and they played music. Like, I know we're in that era where it's a lot of, like, rap tunes and whatever, but they figured out how to play music. And they're performing it well. The arrangements weren't just typical, straightforward. Like, they were actually playing. And Grambling really sounded good. Southern, they did the Southern thing. They go for power, absolutely. But let me tell you, that band is a different band. When Kedrick Taylor is in front of that band, Southern is a different band. I like him in front of the band. And people are not going to, everybody likes Brian, and I don't dislike Brian. Let me get that really clear. Brian and I, we're cool. We're tight. We're cool, but the band has a different sound in front of, when Ked Taylor's in front of them, he pulls something different out of them. And that really kind of, I hate to say saved the day for Southern, but it saved it from being a total, like, ooh, Grambling just gave them the business. Because Ked got up there with his arrangement, and it was the Tony Braxton tune, and they played it, and it was like a different sound. I can see Southern's going through some adjustments because they have some new people on staff, some new arrangers, and like any other band. I don't know if y'all were like this when you were in college, but when our band director was in front of us, we put, we were more attentive. Yeah. We put forth our whatever. When the systems came up, we knew they'd let us get away from a little more, so we did a little more, and that's what I kind of see a lot. Was it like that for you all too?
Yeah, just like it.
Well, we had a legendary list of band directors, so we didn't really have we couldn't afford that. It was either Doc or it was Mr. Adams or it was Dr. Magruder or it was Edward Duplessis. You know what I'm saying? Round of applause. I didn't even know how dope that was. Did you hear that list? Sorry.
But but you had some legendary people too in the field, that's a whole different conversation right there.
Word.
Well, we had Ronald Sargent. So he was so legendary that like when he walked in the band room, we would applaud. So it was that kind of difference. So yeah, whenever he got on the stand, it was like, yeah, I mean, all attention was on the podium. But Bridget, he was getting it all out the horns. Yeah.
But Bridget, I will agree with you between band directors and drum majors. If the drum major there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Joe, sit down or something like that.
Hell yeah. Like being tuba players, we were rebellious. Sometimes we'd flash down on the drum major.
That's funny.
We ain't playing that.
But you know what? Towards the end, I heard that with Grambling too, because you can tell they had either their drum major or like student conductors or whatever kind of up there at the end. And I kind of heard it kind of spiral down. But it's so funny that bands don't really turn up for their directors. Or I kind of made a statement, and I need people to kind of hear this, understand. This is going to be a different kind of statement, but I need people to understand this. We have a plethora of young arrangers out there. And young arrangers, we have some talented ones. Brian is talented, no doubt. But the difference is right now is when that maturity kicks in, the musical maturity and the personality maturity really, really kicks in. That's when you get like superstar band directors. Like I can guarantee you the Sargent brothers, all the great arrangers, Mr. Adams, whatever, as young people, they probably were good. But when they became really legendary is when the maturity sets in. So I'm going to be excited to see when, especially I like Brian's writing for Southern. I really do. But when that maturity really kicks in for him, as his maturity musically and his ear-wise, and just, he's a young guy. When it really kind of settles down, that's when we're going to really get that legendary status for him. It's going to be really, really amazing. It's going to be something totally, totally different. And people don't really understand, like, because he's kind of a hothead right now. And it's not anything that me and Brian have not talked to. We've talked about it. Like, he's kind of a hothead. But when he really settles in musically and just, whatever, then we're going to hear something from him that's going to be, like, really phenomenal. And it's not like he's doing bad work now. Please understand that that's not what I'm saying at all. He's good work. But legendary status really kicks in. It's over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens, with years. And I'm going to surprise you in even saying this, that for his age, Ted Taylor has a maturity in writing and dealing with that band that a lot of young directors don't have. And everybody's not understanding that shift in sound from Southern. They're not understanding it, but I get where he's going because musically he's just in a different place. And so, and he's still, like I said, that legendary status takes some time, but I like right now Kedrick Taylor's style with that band and how they respond to him a lot better. But when arrangers really, really settle in, I think any of the, the legendary arrangers will tell you, like, when they was young guys, like, I put some stuff out, but the work that you get from them now is totally different because it just takes years for it to mature. So all the young guys out there, I'm excited, young guys and young ladies, because there's some ladies who are arranging too. I'm excited for the work that we're hearing, but I just can't wait to see how in the next 10, 15 years, like the stuff that they hear and how they approach things, the difference is going to be like really amazing. But overall, the Battle of the Bands I thought was a really good one, probably one of the better battles. And I've seen quite a few Battle of the Bands via video and in present. This wasn't my first Bayou Classic. This is probably one of the better battles because it was a well-balanced battle, I thought. Both bands had their highs and lows. Grambling, tenor drums. Ooh, I need them to get that together, the percussion area together and settle more in the pocket. Southern is having a woodwind issue. I understand instruments broke, whatever, all those kind of things, but the flutes really threw that band sharp a lot. They're piccolos. And so the tune, like at one point it was really kind of hard. You're like kind of grimacing because it really stood out. And it was throwing the band so sharp that, but that's one of them things, I'm sure the directors are telling them the same thing that I'm kind of saying, spending time training the kids' ears to really kind of hear it so they can make the adjustments, tuning down. We don't always have the best instruments. But that's where their ears kind of come into play too. But these are great directors. So I know that there are things that are, when the kids get on that stage, that adrenaline start pumping, all kinds of things start happening. So I'm sure, it was a change there. But overall, I thought it was a good battle. It was an exciting battle. It was really nice.
I have a question for you, Bridget. With the confines of tradition, as it applies to Grambling, and when I saw their field performance, I could see that a lot of the tradition is still there. Do you believe that she has room to make an impact in the program overall? With so much tradition and so much, Grambling does everything a certain way, and not just Grambling, every band. But will she be allowed to make any kind of changes that steps out of the confines of who they already are?
Can she get rid of the circus? That's what we want to know. Can she break down the circus?
the three-ring circus. Honestly. There's some branding things that are unique to some programs. Grambling has branded themselves as, you call it the three-ring circus, the Jukin band, whatever you want to call it. They branded themselves a certain way. But if you pay close attention, she's already, the last 2 years, we've seen some changes from Grambling, from their sound to their approach to shows. Like I don't feel like they danced and did all as much juking as they normally do, honestly. And I thought their sound was better. So I think there is going to be room for her to come outside the box, especially as they get more comfortable with her. But she's not new to this. She's a daughter of the program. Am I correct? I think she's a daughter of the program.
So she is an alum? Okay.
Yeah. I believe, and somebody can correct me in the chat room if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she's a daughter of the program. So, but I think she has the room and the musical maturity to be able to kind of move around some of those things to keep. Like, we don't want them to totally stop because we want them to be who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of those people who are animate about programs being branded. Like, there's some things that should be some unique to some programs. Okay, we don't like the three-ring circus. Sometimes we're like, we're looking around, but for the most part, that's who Grambling is. Like, we know that. And so, but I think it seems like she's open to moving some things and making the adjustments that what's best for the program. And let me tell you, when I tell you she has like this calm, unbothered thing about her that I just love, I'm just sitting there like, sister, you better do the daggone thing. Like, she's just, if you watch her and her conducting and her approach and even looking at the whole battle, she's just like Like she has complete control, and she's like unbothered. Like she don't let all the craziness kind of rattle her. She's not jumping and whatever. Like, so definitely shout out to Dr. Roebuck. But I definitely do see, Ernest, that she'll be able to move that program and the best direction for the program. And what the best direction is, I can't call it because I'm not a Grambling person. I don't know all the things that they have set for them. But one thing I can tell you, they sound better. They definitely sound better. I thought they sounded better. I thought they marched better. I thought their presentation was really good. I'm talking about better than previous years for them. I thought overall, I thought Grambling had definitely a better approach.
Yeah, I was real impressed with this drilling and the way they looked on the field. I was like, wow. And they don't look so much so. I don't want to describe it, but they look better. They look better.
Yeah.
Knee lift looks better, more uniformed. The lines are straight. I was like, wow, it's a well-rehearsed group now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they probably needed a change. I mean, who knows? Because I mean, I know that the last couple of Battle of the Bands, they didn't really show up like that. Maybe in the last 5 years, maybe they got the best of Southern on like some play calling or something. But definitely the new attitude, probably the new voice. You know what I mean? Sometimes they probably just needed a change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. I think that new energy, and we've seen that with several programs. Like, we appreciate the legacy of the directors who've been at places for years. But sometimes when you get that new shift, that new energy, prime examples, A&T, under their new leadership, we saw some different things from A&T's program. Yeah. Jackson State, for the most part, when they put Rod Little and some of the other guys there, we saw some different, that's really good for the program. And so I do like the direction, like I said, that they're going in. And sometimes a program does need just new energy. We've heard the voice, we appreciate that voice, but sometimes it's time to move with the, shift the winds. It's time to move. So I think they definitely needed that.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was getting at. Like, when Ruffin got to A&T, he was able to bring the whole thematic component to A&T and the core style marching and the whole vibe. Even though if you look closely, they didn't really change their style and their tradition, because they still do those A&T things, but he was able to expand it a little bit. And sometimes that can go either way if you're an alumnus. If you're an alumnus, sometimes you get boxed in. Like, I think that's happening with Shelby at FAMU, where I don't think he'll be able to expand as far as somebody like Ruffin did at North Carolina A&T, as far as stepping out of those boundaries, like those things that make the program, I guess, visually or who they are. I don't see certain programs, because they're alums, being able to step out, and then I see other programs, because they are alums, are able to do stretch that boundary a little bit, and they wouldn't allow someone who was not an alumni to do that. So it can go either way, I guess.
I want to piggyback on what you said, Ernest. Shout out to Fam, and because first of all, you make a good point. Fam's stubborn. Y'all know Fam's stubborn. Okay? Fam done. What did they pronounce themselves? National champions. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Shout out to Fam. Boy, I tell you, Fam. Hold on, man.
I'm like, boy, if you don't sit your
whole self down, your whole self down.
Y'all off the hook. And the best part is, like, when you look at the comments, all of them are defending it. Like, Fam, they could do anything. And them alumni come through. Ooh, hey, so that's hilarious. But you make a really good point. I don't know how much. I mean, because I got my own personal pet peeves, right? I would love to see Fam not maybe put so many people on the field, but I already have a feeling they would be like, "You must be crazy." Like, I know they'll never do that. So you bring up a really good point with that, Ernest. This is really good, thought-provoking discussion. Real quick, couple things, Bridget, that you said I want to add on to. You talked about Brian Simmons, and once that maturity kicks in, is he still in his 20s? Is he still 28?
Yeah, he's 26. Yeah, he's 26.
Wow.
Okay, all
I
right.
didn't know he was that young.
I'm about to say he
Wow.
young. So all you got to do for maturity, Brian, you can get married and or divorce,
No.
have some kids,
Uh-uh.
or buy a house. And round of applause
Right.
for all
Oh
of that.
yeah. Yeah, I
All,
agree with the house part now.
anything
That
is
make him
going.
grow up
Yeah,
real
and
fast.
Right.
when I tell you that maturity, I'm really talking about is the music. I'm talking about that musical, that band director sense kind of maturity too. Is what I'm more so talking about because personally, you don't know people's
But you know
personal
what?
lives, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about
But
that.
it, it
I'm
takes
talking
a
about
little
that
bit of a
musical
living.
just from years. Yes,
I
Hey,
got
yes,
I got
I
takes a
understand.
little
yeah,
living though
A
to
little
get
lit.
that
There you go.
maturity.
The blues. I remember I was young and I
Yep.
hear stuff about the
yeah,
blues. I'm like, why is they tripping? Boy, let
Right.
me tell you.
Right.
Let me tell you.
yeah.
Hold on. Round of
Exactly.
applause for the blues. Cause man, let me
Yep.
tell you. Them real
I,
roots is
I didn't
real.
understand
I'm
it
thinking.
either. So,
I'm thinking about how I approach teaching as a 20, 25
oh,
year old versus how I'm approach it now. Oh my gosh, I'm like, what was I doing then? Like,
exactly. I'm
it just
like, what the hell was I thinking?
like I thinking, what was I doing? And I thought I knew then. Like I thought, oh, you're so great. Nah, you didn't know. But it just sometimes it takes years of seeing things and growing in it and seeing different approaches and learning some things. Then you're like, oh, so that's when I talk about I'm talking about that musical maturity component is what I really mean. And over the years, we'll see it. We'll see something kind of kick in. You're like, whoa, where did this come from? Like things that you hear, how you approach the arrangements, everything is going to kind of change and kind of shift as the years kind of go on. Because in the younger years, we hot heads, we know everything. We like just doing it like
Yeah.
boom.
Yep.
I'm gonna just pop
That
up, punch you in the
ego.
face.
Yeah.
That ego, exactly. But over the years, I'm going to be excited to see, where he goes. Because when I tell you the brother is talented, for sure, he's talented. He's a talented brother. But when that maturity really kicks in as a director, is I think what we're going to see is going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, I'm telling you, start dating. That's all you need. It'll take you one direction or the other. I'm telling you. I'm t-
That's right,
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying?
Don't do it. Take it from me. Don't do it. Don't.
Well, yeah. I would say don't do it, but yeah, but we trying to get some like Tupac type verses out of Brian right now. So go ahead and
Oh my
start
god.
dating and buy a
Oh
house,
my
brother.
god.
Go on, get any major life decisions. It'll put them wrinkles on you, boy. But you'll be dope.
That's right.
Yeah, you'll be dope.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty good. Trying to think, going back over what I saw. I saw a little bit of Ballad of Bands, and I agree with you too, Bridget. Gremlin sounds a whole lot better. I feel like they don't have like the horses yet. Like there were a couple of songs like you were maybe expecting a whole bunch of like upper brass to be just off the hook, just overpowering, but they don't have yet that they don't have that yet. But they're putting it all together as far as what they
Yeah.
were doing, and I felt like they did sound a whole lot better. Um, I felt like Southern was trying to like literally blow them out though. I felt like, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that they try to do that with a lot of
Of
people,
course.
but I felt like they were trying to make it a point this year to like turn up the volume,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I heard a lot of cats squeaking, so like a lot of trumpets getting too hype and like trying to scream at the end and hitting like a total note that's not even a note. So I heard
Right.
a lot of that from Southern. I heard a little bit from Grambling too, but it's just a whole different respect or just a different look. Like we talked, probably that fresh air that we see from Grambling. So I don't know. It was too close. Like when I always say when stuff like that too close, Southern always supposed to lose because Southern's supposed to win Battle of the Bands. But one thing, and I don't know if this is a difference in directors, Southern y'all need to play more songs. Like straight up, y'all got too many tuba breaks, man. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like y'all
Yeah.
start off a song and it'll get exciting, and then like the first 3 seconds is walk a home, on go, like they played I know like Ashanti and like into like another song. Like they do a lot with those medleys. I hear them playing those medleys every year, and those sound good. But I appreciate Southern's band when they playing something from beginning to end. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
too much
Yeah.
where they coming in too crunk and they about to blow you out with them first four notes. Cause them first four notes scary now. Don't get me wrong. Like they coming in scared, and it's scary. But after that, it gets old. I would like to see them play. Y'all need to play more marches. Let's play more marches, Southern.
Oh God, here he go. Here he go with that.
Shout out
Southern
to
is definitely an intimidating band, though. That's one thing. Like they definitely have that intimidation factor. Like sitting in front of them inside of that tight arena, I'm like,
it's
yeah, I see
scary.
why bands kind of be like, woo. I see
Yeah,
why bands like get intimidated and try to overplay because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even gonna say scary, but it's the intimidation factor. They definitely got that down. But I don't know if you all heard like um, maybe around round three or probably around 4 or 5, Southern throws in talking out the side of your neck. I don't know if you caught that. Like right in
Oh,
the middle of the battle. Oh, and let me tell you, the
I didn't.
internet, everybody kind of went ham. Like, why are they
Well, I didn't
playing
catch that. Yeah,
neck,
why they playing neck in a
playing neck
fifth
in the middle of
in a
the
battle? Yeah.
yeah, in a battle, yeah, man. When I tell you,
Dang.
and Grambling definitely played on it. It was like, what are y'all out of music? You playing? You playing neck in the middle of the battle. You must be out of everybody's like, whoa. So that kind of is, that's kind of like a nah. And I know they were going for crowd hype at that point because the
Right.
momentum had definitely shifted towards Grambling. But yeah, you can't play neck in the middle of a battle and people not kind of go, man. I was just like, oh no.
play
So,
calling.
but
Play
both
calling.
bands, yeah, yeah,
And you know what? And
that's
Bridget,
definitely one of the
to your
moments.
earlier point, um, maturity level. When you playing all these, you trying to play everything that's on the radio right now, and
Hmm.
musically, everything that's on the radio right now repeats a lot. It's not a lot going
Yeah.
on. So you have to do those little tuba breaks in there to try to make it interesting. And
Hmm.
and when they do that, and then the crowd, when you go to a Bayou Classic, your crowd is going to be diverse. It's going to be people in there in their
Not a band
60s.
head crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you gotta cater to that older audience as well as the younger audience. And I think a lot of times Southern plays those little rap tunes, or those little R&B chicks that are hot, the top 40 or whatever, and that's not gonna move the crowd so much. If
Yeah.
someone plays something from the '90s, that's gonna groove everybody. You know.
And play
Yeah.
the and
I
play the
think,
whole
and
song.
that's what made the difference. Yep. And that's what made the difference because Gremlin started
Yeah.
playing music. They were playing
Yeah.
music.
Play the whole
Like,
song. Cause see, Southern will do what you said, Ernest. They'll take something from the '90s, but it'll be the hook, and then you be like, oh, you sing with the, oh, I know what that is, and then the whole verse part, will be, whoa, 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 and they'll just be holding up their horns until the hook come back in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no,
So
yeah,
it's
you
like,
can't do
man,
that
y'all
now.
gotta get rid of that. Shout out to what was that? Brian Knowles. He in the chat room. But he wanted to give a
talking
shot.
junk.
Yeah, he wanted to give a shot to Kedrick for the Tony Braxton song. See, that's what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Tony Braxton, Something in My Heart with Michelle A. That's the
Hmm.
Southern I'm trying to listen to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I sure wish they would have been matched up against A&T. I wanted that last year too, but that's all right though.
What happened to the Southern
Yeah.
from a few years ago when they were playing like "Welcome to the Jungle" and all these tunes? Like these out of the box, tunes that HBCUs weren't playing. Why they don't do that anymore?
I don't know. I don't know. We got to
Was
Well, you
that?
find.
gotta look. You gotta look at kind of the staffing differences too. So you look at who's right. So Southern, whoever arranged and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Whoever arranged the piece is the one in front of the band, and look who gets in front of the band when they're playing the rap tune versus when they're playing the music. Like
Right.
you gotta look at that. So that's when I talk about that musical maturity when that kicks in. You don't, as a band director, I can't tell my staff, no, your band's not playing this is all rap team. So you're trying to exercise some faith in your staff, but yet still that's what they're writing for the band. So when I hear the band actually playing music for the most part, it's Kid in front of there. You'll get a couple songs from Brian, but all the rap tunes, they got a younger staff. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So
So I
it
got a
just
question.
depends on where your arrangers are.
I got a question that might break some hearts, might make some people mad, but it's a question
Uh
that needs to be asked. So, in y'all's opinion, has Southern gone down since Hamer?
Oh boy.
Okay, now okay, that's a good question. How many
Gone
years has
down
it been?
how?
Is it 2?
Gone down from performance quality overall, and gone down from image overall.
How long has it been since he's been gone? Is it 2 years or just 1?
This is Kedrick Taylor's second year at the helm.
Okay, second year. I don't think
Mm.
they've lost anything because they still Southern, like probably to me. Also,
Now, I'm not talking about traditional things. I'm not saying that they changed. I'm just asking you, has the performance quality decreased?
Ooh. Well,
I think
okay.
I think they're a little bit of a different band. I don't know if it's down, but I think when I talked about Alcorn going through a transitional year, I think Southern is still going through that transitional phase. Because you got half the band who are still probably Hamer's kids. You still got those kids, and then you got two different sides of the spectrums. And I can't say that they went down. They are a different band. I think they're a different band. But you have to realize, to me, Hamer was a hothead too, and that's not really, they were aggressive. But I didn't really care for that Southern band. Like I actually like this Southern band better, believe it or not.
But you know what though?
I can't say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go. Go ahead.
For years, I was not a Southern fan. For years, I mean,
How I feel.
years. But I started to become a Southern fan under Hamer, and it wasn't because of the aggressiveness, so to speak, like all that stuff on the social media, talking trash and talking trash to other bands and all that. I kind of ignored all that. I became a fan because of the musicality, the musicianship, and the performance quality got better. I actually started checking for Southern on ballads, which would have sounded crazy, 10, 15 years ago, so like that band, the Southern that all these celebrities was coming out and blasting them on social media for playing their music, Is that the same Southern that you saw at the Bayou Classic?
I think it's definitely a different band. I don't know because I was hard on Southern. Anybody watch the show, I was really hard on Southern. But I actually gained a higher appreciation for Southern once Kedrick Taylor took over. That's just me personally. Because I like his direction. I like the vision. From talking to him one-on-one, I like the vision that he has for the program. It's a different band. It is a different sounding band, but it's not a bad sounding band. That's what I need people to kind of understand for me. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the Hamer Southern band. That's just me. I actually prefer.
Hey, Joe.
I ain't gonna lie. I like Hamer because he was off the hook. Now maybe because I'm off the hook is why I like him. But some stuff was like, oh okay, maybe he went too far. But the fact he was like young and he was like a young Rex Ryan. You know what I mean? Ernest, like, you know how Rex was like, hey, we about to go. We about to run over people. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Like, I appreciate that. I don't care what he was doing. Like, I'm sure it was illegal.
He was too much.
I'm sure it was illegal. I mean, okay, I get it. I understand. But I like that he was out there putting the band out there. I also think one thing, too, that we got to put in, because I was about to say something about Garrett. I think the fact that they're now investing more in Garrett kind of toast the line about Southern's band and who they are. Because now they got much more of a media representation. You know what I'm saying? And they doing more with the YouTube, and Garrett's on like a different level. So I think that's part of them, how they getting their name out there, the marketing around it. Real quick, Garrett also told me about the marches. He said that they still play marches at games, but a lot of times they won't film them because those are the first ones that usually get flagged on YouTube. That's what he told me.
Uh,
I was like, oh, so I was like, okay.
uh,
So plus and plus,
artists
Most
get
of the
flagged.
marches are the ones that most of the marches are the public debate
Yeah,
though. Those are the ones that
yeah,
shouldn't get flagged.
yeah.
well,
That should
yeah.
not get flagged.
Well, of course, you guys know. I'm sure they picking what they want when they want. But that was the main thing that Gary was talking about was that once they'll start getting flagged. Um, but yeah, I think that's part of it. But I don't know Kendrick, but I appreciate that he write now songs. Like it
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's a little bit more. Maybe he want to like word on the street, like he want to build a concert band or he want to do stuff like that, make them more musical. So it's still unfortunate about Hamer, but I did like that brashness. And that's probably just because that's partly my personality, or I like when someone comes in there and says like, "Hey," not like over the hook or over the like here like Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump, he got that same type like charisma, brain type, but he kind of maybe go a little bit too far with it. But I like how
Mm-hmm.
Hamer was when he would come up there. Come on, y'all, let's go ahead and punch him in the face, like because Dr. Liddell was like that a little bit too. He was just older and probably a little
Yeah.
bit more mature with it. But
Shoot,
Doc was
Jackson
like
was
that.
like that too.
Yeah,
Lawrence Jackson, he was like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Talking trash and out there in your face. And, that's kind of like the Southern band director MO. It's like if you the
Yeah,
band,
it is.
you gotta be like that. Because the band is a reflection of the director. So if you more
It
relaxed and
is.
calm, the band is gonna lose some of that edge. But to that point, um, which band do you guys think would have done better against Dr. Robot's World Fame band? Kedrick's Jukebox or Hamer's Jukebox?
against whose band?
Dr. Robot, World Fame band.
Gremlin.
Yeah.
Graham. So let me tell you, I think the issue that we have, I think the issue we have now is that we still have. I think we have two versions of. I think we have two versions of Southern. We have the part of the band that's definitely switching into the Kedrick Taylor style, but then we still have the part that's still the Hamer style. And let me tell you, everybody likes that aggressive Southern all the time. I just personally, and that's just a personal thing, I just didn't prefer the in your face all the time. That's like a level of one speed. Like you're like, oh my God, that's all you got. Like I like the versatility of Southern. And I think if everyone buys into Kedrick Taylor's vision, the Taylor version would have done better overall um with Grambling. But I just think there's I think staff wise you still have two different kind of viewpoints also in Southern, and that's a whole different kind of issue. But
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think it's totally bad, but you got two different styles, and when they kind of merge and put it together, I think Southern is going to be at that unstoppable stage. I like a versatile Southern, I really do. I didn't think Southern was as versatile under Hamer. I thought they just had one punch you in the mouth and keep it moving. That was it. I think that's all. That was just me. That was me. I didn't see the versatility. So, yeah, that's just my thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. I and he was the he's a band director before the current band director at Grambling, right? Yeah.
Right.
Me, either or was better. I just was not feeling Grambling's last band director. Like they just seemed like they took a lot of L's, and I think a lot of the arrangements, the trumpets was on like an island by themselves. Like it just it's so much. Grambling sounds way better now. Like I'm interested to
That
see
was
this
Parnell,
direction
right?
now.
And
Yeah,
director was Parnell.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where they going now. But the Hamer Southern the Cat, like I don't know, it hadn't been long enough. I think for real to see the difference. Maybe
Yeah,
Brother Taylor is gonna develop like where they like you had that musicality, but you gotta have that flair. Like that is part of Southern's tradition. Like fam is super
Mm-hmm.
arrogant. Southern is flair. Like you talk about
Mm-hmm.
they fans, they are rude and they're violent and they're nasty, but that's Southern. Like you
Right,
can't
right,
lose that. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like when you go on their campus, you need to be fearful. Like you need to be
right.
scared. Where are the police? That type of thing. So you can. I don't want them to lose that. Like that would Southern be like, oh man, that would hurt too much. You know what I'm saying?
That,
Yeah, they're known for their power, and I say don't take that away from them. I think that's a part of their branding. But getting that versatility, when you get that versatile Southern, I think they're gonna be like really like nothing to play with for real, for real. As of to now, to my opinion, up until recently, they just been, especially on the Hammer, they were just a powerful Southern, like in your face, whatever kind of. But when you get that versatility, almost if you think about how Alabama A&M made that transition, when they
yes,
started like
that's a good
you
point.
like, oh,
right,
like
right.
they sound good. And let me tell you, I understand that SWAC is resistant to musicality. Trust me, I know they're resistant to that because they be like, oh, that's the MEAC sound. Okay, whatever, call it
Right.
what you want. If you want to say we're musical, then go for it. But I like when a band is versatile, that you can give them a punch in the face, but you can also finesse them. I like a little
Yeah.
bit of both.
I
I see
agree.
Right.
your shots. I see your shots fired. I wasn't shooting shots. I'm
Well,
just
I mean,
saying.
I was just, I was just saying, I would just understand. But I mean, I think someone or a band or a program that really hits the head on what you guys are saying is probably the program in Jackson, Mississippi at Jackson State
Ah,
University. They do a good job
Lord.
of having power, but they do a good job of having the finesse and the classical side too. Our symphonic band is probably the best musical group there on campus. It's better than the Boom. So I urge you guys to check that out because that's where it all starts.
That's
Shout
what it's
out to
supposed to be.
that's where it's supposed to be. Shout out to the brother Kevin Davenport. Like you said, it starts in the concert band.
That's
So
right.
y'all do that because that's where you learn how to play and not crank, like Bridget
Hmm.
say. Like ain't that right? Round of applause for not learning how to play
That's right.
your horn. So, very good discussion. Shout out to people in the chat room. That was a good conversation. That is, but yeah, definitely as the years go on, I'm interested to see how Southern progresses. But yeah, I think Bridget said.
Someone in the
What did you
Go
say?
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say
Go
someone
ahead. You good?
that like you said that you felt that Grambling outplayed Southern in the Battle of the Bands. I felt it was close. Like it was still Southern. They were just blowing. But Grambling, even though they ain't got the horses, they definitely sounded a lot better. So it was a whole lot closer than I thought. But that kind of bleeds over to the SWAC Championship. I want to say a little something about that. The halftime shows were lackluster, and I felt like they were kind of preparing to see who's going like next week. Like I felt that from both bands.
Hmm.
It was a drill. Alcorn basically did a drill, and then they had like 4 or 5 people do a dance. I think they were making fun of Southern, and that was pretty much it. Southern came on the field, and Grambling actually was more precise on the field than. I'm sorry, Alcorn was more precise on the field than Southern was,
What?
which was a surprise to me. I felt like Southern, their lines weren't as straight as Alcorn's was. But Southern really didn't have that much of a show either. They did like a real quick dance routine, and I'm not gonna lie, I do like them running after they in block band. They like run into a word. I'm starting to like that a little bit. And then the fact they changing the words every week, that's kind of dope, Southern. I might have to give you that one. So they ran and they did Jaguars one week, and then I wanted to ask you about this, Bridget. They did Champs this week. Now they hadn't won the
Right.
game yet,
Right.
but they did Champs. Now was this? And I want you to explain it, Bridget. They call themselves the Champs, and they got rings and everything. And why is that again?
Oh, I don't know. So I think they did the. They think they the Kings. They call themselves the Kings. KANGZ or whatever. They call themselves the Kings. So I guess
Right.
regardless, that they're saying that they're the Kings of band,
Oh,
the
okay.
Kings, the champs of band is what I think they were trying to say. Somebody from Southern can correct us if we're incorrect, but I don't know. the halftime shows, we've seen both shows from both bands, but they were similar. They were really similar. Like their drilling was like, I felt like I watched the same performance almost twice with some slight changes. So I can't really call halftime. We've seen both performances, and I don't think either one of them did a bad job. It was just kind of like, oh, but I felt like I watched the same performance twice. Like I really was like, maybe I should go back and rewatch this, but neither band seemed like they got up for this performance, Yeah. I mean, you have to realize, it doesn't seem like neither one. They've seen each other earlier in the season, so I think the best we got out of them was the zero quarter. They went like 16, 15 rounds. I mean, it went a long time. The zero quarter, I think, was the best that we got out of them.
Well, you know what? A lot of what I see in the SWAC, and it's not really a knock to the conference, but just overall, they don't really pay that much attention to the halftime show. Like to them, when they see a band, quote unquote, or they meet up with somebody, they're thinking about the stands. They're not even so amped about what's going to happen at halftime. So, I think that's us, Joe, and our old school way of looking at a band. I think this new generation, they're not up on halftime like that. They're to them, they just think, hey, all right, they're marching around the field, they're making some pictures. All right, when they gonna get in the stands to crank,
Park and blow.
But,
that's what they.
Blow. Because even now they get more crunk on at the end of the show when they do the sideline blowdown, than seeing some dope drill formations, So I think that's a SWAC thing, man. Like I don't think they put too much into a halftime performance.
Yeah, that's sad.
I think, but for the most part, I've always said historically, I think Southern has been one of the better drilling and halftime performance bands. Like they always have been solid. Like they really know how to put on a good halftime show. But you know what I realized this week too? When we came along, we didn't have social media, and nobody knew what anybody's show was.
Right.
And so what I think it is because we're seeing, and you could do the same show 2-3 weeks in a row, and nobody knew because there wasn't social media. But now, as soon as it's happening, we're watching it. So we're kind of like, oh, we're bored with this because we've seen it. But it's no different than what we've been doing in earlier years. What we did, nobody just, people just didn't see it because there wasn't that easy access to social media when we were in the band. So we're telling our age right now. But I think that's playing more of a role with it now. Like, okay, we wouldn't have known that Southern done that show before if this was how many umpteen years ago. We'd have been like, oh, that was a cool show, the formations and blah, blah, blah. We wouldn't have anything to compare it to. But now that we have, it almost makes it more work for the directors now because we have something to compare it to. Because we're like, oh, they did this before. Let me see if they're going to be just as hype or not, whatever. But I remember Mr. Miles, our band director at Morgan, used to say, I don't care how many times you do it, you got to sell it like it's the first time you're doing it. He was like, think about your favorite performer. If you were going to go see a whoever show, Usher, whoever was coming out, you're going to want to see your old, people go and want to see something familiar. You want to see his new stuff, but you want some old songs so you can sing and jam with it too. So It's not about doing something that's old. It's about, you have to sell it each time. And so, bands get up for certain bands and not. So, it is what it is.
But you know what? In the SWAC, the difference between the SWAC and I would just use the MEAC as an example. Other conferences had this as well. But the SWAC and the MEAC is the SWAC has traditional shows. Like their shows are traditional. There's no traditional MEAC shows. Like right now, you can name several shows from Jackson State and Southern that, or if you see them, you can say, okay, I saw this show in 87, 72, 95, But there's no MEAC show like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like when you see two bands meet up with each other, and they know they're gonna do one of these shows that they've been doing for years anyway. So like why would they get crunk for that? Like let's get crunk for the stands. That's kind of like what happens a lot, I think.
It's interesting that you say that because I know that I've always liked the stands because it it gives you that that battle between the two where they can stay in the stands all night, like But I've always just been a fan of the drill too. Like
Mhm.
that was part of it. Like the first part of band camp, you was learning how to march 8 to 5. Like that was super super important. And like your drill was, I mean, that was half your show. You know what I mean? As far as you
Mhm.
getting the hype, that kind of sells it at the end. But your drill was what type of band you was.
Right.
And now maybe folks aren't as into it. I'm still seeing good drills.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
but
I mean, the
definitely,
quality has not changed, but there's no creativity. There's no e-
yeah,
expansion
right,
upon what's been done. You already, and BCU is kind of following into that mold now, where you know what's going to happen. It's just a fact of you looking to see if there's
They're
any.
predictable.
Right, right. You're looking to see if there's any difference in quality from year to year. Not necessarily if there's anything new or exciting that's going to happen. No, you're not going to see that. You're just going to see, you're just going to being able to see if there's any difference in quality. They're going to come down, tiger run on the field, float some diamonds, do some chevrons, might do the big stripes across the field, and bam. They might do something else or they might rotate something. That's it. That's all you're gonna see. You're gonna see that BCU coming on the field. You're gonna see them float the BCU. You're gonna see them bust into some slants. You're gonna see them go into concert band formation. And
All right.
that, like, compared to a Norfolk State show where you don't know what in the world is about to happen, or a North Carolina A&T show,
True.
or a Florida
Yeah.
A&M show. you know, you know, whatever you about to see is about to be brand new. You know, so
Yeah.
that's the difference to me. In the conferences, and I think that's why the kids take to the stands to be more competitive. Um, because they kind of locked. It may feel like they're locked in as far as the show is concerned.
yeah, that's what's up. That's
I
what's up.
agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I guess that kind of wraps things up. But yeah, I guess overall, I didn't. I felt Alcorn had the better drill. Their drill was better than Southern's. It was tighter. Um,
I'm a fan of Alcorn lately, man. I've been feeling them.
oh,
I gotta say,
I
I'm
mean,
feeling
I'm saying,
Alcorn.
no, I understand. I understand
They'll be
because
happy to hear that.
because they were firing, they were battling with Southern in that zero for a little while, and I
Yeah,
mean Alcorn's good, man. I mean,
yeah.
look at
Southern's
the
always be
image.
one of my faves out of the SWAC.
Oh, of course,
You
of
know,
course.
but I like pulling for the underdog sometimes, and I don't even know Alcorn. I don't know, man. I don't know if they're underdog no more.
Well,
They
yeah. Until
real
Alcorn gets their
consistent
own brand.
on size. Yeah, and they this year, like Bridget said, would have been the year that things would have fell apart, and they held it together. So
Well, hey man,
I'm impressed.
until they get their own thing, man, they always gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying? We just talked about Grambling, and we say, hey, it's the three ring circus, but it's Grambling's three ring circus.
Right.
However, Alcorn though, Alcorn is good, but it's always based on the model that's I think it's east. Yeah, it's east. What about 100 miles east of that campus? Until you
I don't
guys
know, bro.
come up with, they need to
You
come
know,
up
But
with
I
some of
don't
their
think
own
I don't.
thing, man.
They don't remind me. They don't remind me of Jackson State at all.
Oh,
Like
Bridget,
you know
I
what?
don't
Bridget
know.
from the
You
MEAC.
say that, but they don't
That's
remind. They don't remind
that's
me
what I
of
was about to
Jackson
say.
State.
That's what I was about to say.
The very first
They
thing they do is make the ASU and it look like JSU. That's the very first thing they do.
but
Then the uniforms
but a
look
lot
like
of fans
ours.
do that. Cookman does that. A lot of
But
schools do
Yeah.
that. Like
Cookman's
I don't see
BCU is,
it.
well, Cookman's BCU is, it does not look anything like any letters or
Hmm.
text that Jackson State creates. We're talking about the ASU looking just like the JSU, and they ain't changed it, Bridget. It's been since like the '70s that Alcorn has been putting that ASU on the field looking like
Well,
JSU.
then that's their brand. Maybe that's brand, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
well that,
Jackson State is doing like Alcorn did. Maybe they're
nah,
doing what
man,
Alcorn did. Who
nah,
says
that
that they started?
they're like Xerox. Like that's their brand, where it's like we're
I
Xerox, but it's like
disagree.
copies. You know what I'm
But you know
saying?
what, Joe? Like,
They know.
sometimes, like you and I may know that, yeah, they copied Jackson State back in the day. That's where they got the style from. But they've added so much different flavor to it. Like they've created
Yeah.
something new. It's kind of similar to what, if you familiar with the Bethune-Cookman FAMU history,
Yeah.
you know that Cookman copied the 100. You know,
Oh,
like they took the format, you know, but they recreated, they molded it into something different.
You're
So
100% right. We're just not there
yeah.
yet with Alcorn. Maybe about another 2
But
years.
think about
They'll be there.
what band really didn't in their history. What band didn't? Because most of the HBCU bands was developed. Their directors came usually out of Southern, Jackson State, FAMU, maybe Grambling. So which bands did? So you're going to see elements of that in almost everybody's program. Morgan has elements of Southern because our directors was from Southern. The first dance instructor came out of Prairie View. So they're the Black Foxes, we're the Foxies. That's just historical. That's how history works. That's everybody's program.
We all babies of the big three. You know,
totally agree.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. I just think Alcorn, they're just still in that adolescent stage. When you say, well, Morgan and all them schools, they took their, so y'all got y'all own thing now. Y'all at Macy's. They ain't asked Alcorn to go to Macy's. Shout out to,
I'm not gonna hate it, Alcorn. Shout out to Alcorn. The directors there are my friends.
Come on, man.
So these are exclusively the views of Joe Barrett. It is not the views of or Ernest Stackhouse, because Alcorn did a fine job this season.
No, I agree.
Disclaimer.
I agree.
Disclaimer.
I'm just saying, we just waiting for them to come out. Cause see, what they should be doing, they should have much more of a Native American type theme, something. See, I'm helping them out with the creativity department. Cause I'm telling you, the little,
we gotta get him from.
See, that's dope. They need to expand on that. You know what I'm saying?
It is dope.
But there's always a lot between Jackson State and Alcorn. Like a lot of the students, maybe one will graduate from one and then get a job at the next school. I know my friend Mara Hall, who's actually, hold on, shout out to Mara. I meant to say give her a shout out. Let me give her a shout out. Mara Hall. I chopped it up with her. She marched in the band. She was Crab in '94. She got her doctorate in music, finished Jackson State, taught at Alcorn for a while. She then went to Detroit, her hometown, was a band director up there at a middle school. And then she said, hey, I want to start acting. And I was like, word? And I was like, about to say, you about to be like the next William Foster. You want to go act? She said, yeah, I just really feel like she want to act. So she moved out to L.A. And long story short, she's now one of the, she's got a big part on, not Damages, but it's the show with Robin Givens. That's on, I think, the OWN network. Oh, man, I forgot the name of the show.
Oh, wow.
But Mara's on there now, so shout out to her. But that made me think of her because she finished Jackson State and then went to Alcorn for a while. I think David Ware was my band director the last year I marched, and then I think he went to Alcorn. So it's a lot. Okay. It's a lot of communication between the two, and I'm just messing around Alcorn. But I wouldn't be from the
Joe,
boom
where
if I didn't
are
let
their
y'all
band
have
directors from now? Joe, where are their band directors from now?
The people you
their
know?
Band staff. Where are they from now? The head band director, the guy who's the acting head band director, Everton Martin. Where is he from?
I don't know. You talking about the people at Alcorn?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Where they from?
Let me help you this out. They're not from Jackson State. They're actually Southern guys. They're actually from Southern.
Okay.
So you're talking. So if their style has if it looks similar to anything, which I still don't think it do, I would say closer to Southern because everybody pulls some elements from their school. But their band directors, a good part of their staff is from Southern. Milton Harvey he's an Alcorn guy. He's on their staff too, but yeah, so we can't really say that they have that Jackson State influence anymore. I'm just saying, I'm trying to help y'all out, Alcorn.
Yeah, I know exactly. You trying to help them out. That's all good. But We know the truth. Everybody in the SWAC know the truth. Shout out to the chat room, though.
Alcorn is a good program. Alcorn is a good program. They did a great job this season.
Well,
That's the
hey,
truth.
we know that we gonna be pulling for Alcorn in a couple weeks. That's what we know. Alcorn, y'all gotta bring it home, and on the field and in the stands. Y'all gotta represent
Yeah.
low A&T away. Shout out to you, Christy. No
they're gonna have to bring it on the field. I'm sorry, but they're gonna have to bring it on the field.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so let's do this.
And Blue and Gold gonna do a whole dog and pony show.
You got that right.
Yeah, they might do something. Who knows, man? They might do something to make us think about our lives. Like it might be so deep,
exactly.
We'll be standing up crying and everything. Like, damn. Did y'all see that show? I'm thinking about stopping a whole lot of my bad habits. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't drink no more brown liquor. Right. No more brown liquor. Right. I'm white only. A&T.
Wow.
No more brown liquor. No more brown liquor. All right, y'all. Let's do this last round of the commercials. Then we'll come back and close it out. Shout out to the chat room. Shout out to all y'all listening. It's 90 Degree Show with Volume 9. Y'all can mute your microphones. We'll be right back.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event, but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokee-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokee-O's know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? Smokee-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokee-O's know what's good for you. Smokee-O's, come check us out.
This is Curtis from 80minutesofregulation.com. From referees whistle to drum majors whistle and back, your source for sports and marching and athletic music. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, microphones. We're back. Back to close out the show. We've definitely had a good discussion. We've been on the mic longer than we usually are. But yeah, again, and of course, shout out to the chat room. The realest people on earth. Give y'all a round of applause.
Who did you say your mama to? Oh my goodness, shots fired in the chat room.
My bad. I typed it fast and I thought it was joking, but I don't know him like that. What's the dude's name? Javon. I don't even know. That probably could be something bad.
Javon, who? What did he say? It must be somebody in the other room. It must be in the.
No,
Yeah.
I mean nothing bad, but I ain't mean nothing nothing bad by him. But man, you know, he was
If
messing
you
with me
talk about my
last week.
Javon Pilot, that's my bro. That's my broham.
Man,
That's my brother right
he
there.
be trying to go in on the chat room, and I appreciate it. But where he go to school though first?
Who's Javon? Who is it? Javon Pollard?
Yeah,
Is that who you talking about?
Javon, where you go to school,
Southern.
man? Oh, okay.
He's a Southern. He's from Southern.
Okay. Well, I thought he was from Alcorn.
Here y'all go. Where you go to school at? People kill me with that. That's all
Hey, hey.
Where you go to school?
You know it's getting personal once you go to that.
That's all they know. Where you go to school?
Well, I was gonna taper what I had to say, depending on where he went to school. See, if he went to Alcorn,
you about to go in, huh?
Yeah, so you're not gonna get on my brother Javon. You can't get on my brother Javon.
Man, I ain't getting on nobody, man. Yeah. I appreciate that he even in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? But he was getting on me last week, man. That's
good people.
But shout out to everybody in the chat room again. Most of them didn't really agree with me on the Alcorn take, but I see ain't nobody from the Boom really ain't here. So you know what I'm saying? I'm fighting a losing battle here, so I'll let that go. But Alcorn, like I said, we pulling for you, Braves. You bring it home now. Bring it home. All right. So in wrapping up, Ernest, man, I ask you, man, you got anything going on that we should know about? We got a couple weeks before the bowl or before the game. So maybe we might not come on. I'll hit y'all up this week if we come on next week and all of that. But anything you got going on before the celebration?
I got some things in the bag, my brother. I'm working on a big thing that I've been doing a lot of research on with the Kappa Kappa Psi situation. So keep your eyes out for that. That's coming out. And then I got of course the analysis I do for the Honda Battle of the Bands every year. So that's going to be real in-depth and a good analysis of each band's performance. We don't have a true competition in this case. It's a showcase, but it's always good to I guess, get an opinion out there so that everyone can discuss it and actually talk about things from a music educator perspective and not just a fan's perspective is what I try to do. So, yeah,
my bad.
Keep your eye out for that.
All right. Anything else? What about the? I was about to ask you because I know you out shopping today. How is the holiday situation for you and the family? Because you got kids, man.
God.
You got kids.
Man, I got 3. Yes, I got 6, 10, and 14. So
come on,
this year is crucial because my 10-year-old want a phone, and my 14-year-old he want like the PlayStation 4 or 5 or whatever the latest craziest video game system is. So I'm already in about a G just on them two, and I ain't even talked about the wife yet. Yeah, man.
Well, that's what's up. Bridget asked you the same question. Anything you got going on? Anything coming up? Anything that's going on?
I'm leaving out in just a few seconds to start my Christmas shopping for baby girl. Little Miss Zoe. Zoe Eats, our resident food critic on YouTube. Check her out. So I'm doing my shopping. But I have to give a shout out to the Edgewood music programs. We just completed our week. We do a week of concerts, 3 days. Oh my gosh. So I was dead tired this week, 3 days of concerts. So shout out to the kids. The kids put on a very nice show, did some good work. So thank you. Shout out to coming up, I don't know if we were broadcasting or not, but to the directors who are traveling to the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic in Chicago. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so hyped to see all the directors, colleagues. We always have a good time hanging out, fellowshipping. So I'm always excited. HBCU Band Directors Consortium always meets. So we're excited for that opportunity again. And selfish reasons, I'm so selfish. I'm like, no, I don't want this band to win the championship because I want to hang out with their directors or whatever. So I'm kind of selfish. So I like to be able to hang out with them too. But I'm always excited about going to Midwest. So shout out to them. Like I said, Edgewood programs. I have to give a shout out to the bishop, my pops, my mom. They're celebrating. This is 40 years of ministry for them. My dad's a bishop of churches. Everybody don't know I'm a PK. So we had a special celebration today, honoring them from the mayor and some other things. So we're excited about that too. So good things going on in the personal home life as well as the band world. So shout out to all that. Ernest, I'm so looking forward to. That's a great topic to talk about that column that's coming up.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to hear that.
All right.
The music getting louder. I mean, that means I need to hush. It's getting louder.
Is it?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's getting.
All right.
It's blowing.
Hopefully, I got it turned down enough so I can. It's supposed to just be in the
That's
background.
cool.
Just supposed to be in the
That's
background,
cool right
you know
there.
what I'm saying? All right. So yeah. Shout out to Brian Knowles. He said that Javon was his LB, so I guess everybody know this dude Javon. And he also says that Bridget has horns and she's not a preacher's kid. So Brian is trying.
And I gave Brian Knowles a shout out at the beginning.
Did.
Look, I was like, that's my bro Ham. He looked out for me, and he's on in the chat room talking big junk. So shut up, Brian, with your big head self. Since he's gonna talk about being, I'm like, that's a terrible deacon, and that's a good right Reverend deacon right there. So he needs to hush.
I know. Y'all,
I'm taking my shout out back.
I'm about to say, he said they looked out for me, and with all these crazy people trying to kidnap women nowadays, they looked out for me. And then Brian said that y'all crazy, y'all off the hook down there. All right. So and then he smiled in the chat. He smiled. All right, y'all. So for me, happy holidays. Keep being grateful. Because that's what we said for Thanksgiving. Keep being grateful. And then with the upcoming, with Christmas, still be grateful and loving. And buy something nice for somebody that you didn't last year. I think that's it. I'm off the hook, too, with my 2 kids. They want a whole bunch of stuff. And they were already talking about they want to make their list. So I'm like, man, I can't wait till my moms get here to help me out with that list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bless grandparents.
Zoe's put on her list. She want a baritone horn. Little girl,
round of applause.
Don't want a baritone for Christmas.
Actually, she want Yamaha or a Con. Yamaha or Con. What she want?
It can't even spell it. Gonna spell it Bearatone. You gotta learn how to spell it.
She's a
for sure. For sure.
Oh, that's what's up, y'all. Well, it's always good to talk to y'all, and I'm sure I'll text y'all this week, and we'll figure it out what we'll do. But we coming basically to the end of the year, and then we got SWAC Championship coming up. I'm sorry, the Celebration Bowl, and then the Honda. So that'll be exciting, and we'll still be talking. And then again, shout out to all the people in the chat room. Y'all make this stuff worthwhile, and it's always good to hear from y'all. Look, my mom's, she said that, all the family member, all that, so all the people in there, we appreciate it. All right, so we'll be back to talk about the Celebration Bowl, or maybe earlier. We'll let y'all know. You guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, love you both, appreciate all the support, thanks for doing the show with me and everything, because we need music majors in this thing. Because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Let's go.
Other than hot takes.
Thank you.
I got
the first
takes.
Real thing we heard.
No. My takes are hot. They ain't musical. And they not bad, but it's hot takes.
So crazy.
Play some marches, y'all.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Joe. We appreciate
Joe. You holding it down. That's right. Joe holding it down for the streets. That's what's up.
There you go. For all the bandsmen who flunked out of music. We're holding it down. Round of applause.
Get him. Mama Natalie said, get your son. Get your son.
Right. If I hear it first, I'll play it, but don't ask me to read it. That's what I'm representing.
Our resident Devin Miles.
Right. I'm just playing, y'all. All right, peace and love, y'all. Y'all have a good week.
All right.
We'll be back. Take care.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.